In today's video, we're going to look at how to remove metadata or digital breadcrumbs from your images that you upload into the MLS or use for your advertisements or other things. So, to begin, we need to do some prerequisites. You'll see here that I have a terminal window open. I'm using a different software. It's called iTerm2. In order to install iTerm2, the first thing we need to do is install what we're going to use to actually do a lot of our installations of our tools and our utilities that we'll need via the command line. So this is not for people that don't like using the command line or don't want to use the command line. This is probably going to be more for the folks that have a little bit more tech savviness and want to leverage using the command line to quickly and easily do and automate certain processes. So to begin, we're going to start with the prerequisites. So the first thing we're going to do is install Homebrew. So in order to do that, we're going to get to I know that you don't have iTerm2 installed yet, probably, but we're going to get there. So the first thing we're going to do is just open up the Mac terminal itself. We're going to do Command space to open a search window, and then I typed in terminal, and I'm able to pull up the app right here, and I just click there to open it up. I'm typing in clear because that's going to clear out my terminal window so you don't see extra information that you don't need to see. So here we have the standard traditional Mac terminal window. And the first thing we're going to do is install a utility called Homebrew. Again, it's the utility that we will use to do further installs of different types of software. But it just makes everything easy. It's a one-stop shop for installing different applications on your Mac. In order to install it, we're going to copy this command here. I'm not going to explain this command, but just do a copy paste. You will see the details, and you can copy paste from the description below. We'll do a command V, which is a paste. We're pasting it into our terminal window. So I'm not going to run the command because I actually already have Homebrew installed. So that's the command. You will hit enter to run it, but I'm going to take it out because I already have it installed again. And the next thing we will do, once that finishes installing, it does go through a little bit of a process to install. Once that's done installing, you'll see it on the screen. It'll output some of the information and details. Don't get caught up in that. It could be confusing, so don't worry about that. You're just going to wait for it to finish installing, and you'll know that it's done whenever it actually says done with an exclamation point at the end. Then the next step is installing iTerm2, which is this terminal, what they call emulator. It's a different version of using terminal than the standard Mac OS, but it's better in my opinion because it's a little bit more functional and you have a lot more room to customize it and make things easier to read and things like that. So to do that, this command, because this brew right here means that we have to have Homebrew actually installed before we can actually run this command. So this is a Homebrew command that's saying, hey, install this application. So I already have it installed. Again, I will take this out, but you would hit enter to run this command. The next thing is our tool that we'll actually use to remove metadata from the images, and that's called exiftool. Again, you have to have Homebrew already installed in order to install this tool. So you just copy paste here, and again, these commands will be in the description below. I already have this tool installed, so I'm not going to run this, but you would hit enter at this point to run this and install the tool. Once you get that done, we're ready to begin. We have here going to open up this folder here. And it's got 5 images that need to have their metadata removed. Metadata is what I would like to call digital breadcrumbs, information about the file, where the image was taken, what the camera that was used, just different little pieces of information that you may or may not want. Most people don't want to have that information transmitted online, especially not posted to social media or the MLS or different things like that, because that information can easily identify personal details about the technology that was used to capture the photo. And we just don't want that. It's just a best practice to remove metadata from both images and files whenever you're uploading them to something online, or you're sending them elsewhere or transmitting them in any way. All right, so in order to do that, we have this folder here with 5 files. So we're going to navigate to the folder, and the way we do that is we're going to do cd, meaning change directory. We're going to put in this squiggly line because it's going to say basically change the directory to the current user that is currently logged into this computer to their desktop drive is where we're going, top, the desktop. And then from there, we're going into our folder called Virtual Remodel Tremont 2. It says terminal would like to access the files in your desktop folder. You hit allow. Oh, and I just realized that I'm using terminal, but we have installed iTerm 2, so we can actually use that now. So I'm going to navigate to iTerm, and we're going to use that. My apologies. So we're going to navigate by changing the directory to, again, squiggly line, meaning the current user that's logged in to their desktop folder. We're navigating into Virtual Remodel Tremont. Once we're here, we're going to do, the first thing I like to do is I'd like to do a ls, meaning like list the files that are in the directory so that I can see if I'm in the right directory or not, like what's in here. So I see that I have images in here, and I'm in the wrong directory because I've actually already done the exiftool processing in this directory. So I'm going to back out of here by changing the directory. Putting those 2 dots in there means back out, go to the previous directory that you were at. We're going to get there, and we are going to go to this folder here. Okay, so we're going to go to, I'm sorry. All right, there we go. I needed that extra slash in there because I have spaces in my folder name. Because I have spaces in my folder name, whenever you're navigating via terminal, you need to put slashes after every word that is followed by a space. So now that we're in this folder called Virtual Remodel Tremont 2, now we're going to navigate and view the files that are in the folder using the ls command. We see that we have 5 picture files in the folder. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to leverage a little bit of bash in order to process through each of these files. And for each of these files, we're going to actually be removing their metadata, or as we talked about, digital breadcrumbs that you don't want in those files. All right, so in order to do that, we're going to leverage a bash command. And this bash command is actually a for loop. It's a for loop that allows, that is telling your Mac to go into this folder, and for each file that you find in this folder that is a picture of type JPEG, to run the exiftool command on each of those files found and remove the metadata. So the exiftool command that we're going to use to actually remove the metadata from the files is exiftool, I'll type it out here, -all equals, then you put a space and you put the file name. So this is going to be a little bit more complex as far as the bash. We're not going to really dive into the semantics of what we're doing with each of these commands, but what we're going to do is I'm going to have the command in the description below this video, so you just copy and paste the command, because I can get a little bit in the tweets. But so this is what we're going to do. Okay, the intertech guy in me will explain this a little bit. So this for loop basically is saying, for each file that you find that is of type JPEG, all right? So what that's meaning is that you're looking in this directory, and the reason why we have the star.jpg is saying for each file, any file, which is going to be represented by the star, that ends in .jpg, meaning any JPEG file. So it's going to find any file that is a JPEG. Then the next line is do, meaning execute this command on the files that you just found here. So every time you see a semicolon, it's basically a separate command, and it's saying do this, and then you're ready to do the next thing. So you are going to call the exiftool command here. You do -all because that's how you write out that parameter, equals space, then the $ file. This is the variable that we defined here. So in bash, you don't have to like have this, you don't have to like set variables whenever you're running like a command like this right from terminal. In a script, it's going to be best practice to actually set a variable. I know I'm getting really techie, so you can just fast forward through this part if you want to. But what we're doing is we're calling the exiftool command with this parameter, and we're passing into that command this variable that we set right here in the first line. And that's it. Then we put a semicolon here to say, okay, that's the thing that you should be doing, semicolon, then done, meaning after you do this thing, then you'll exit. So this script is going to run each time. It's going to run for all files that it's found in this directory that are of the type JPEG. All right. And we know that it's running because exiftool spits out this output, one image file updated, whenever it's actually running to remove the metadata. So now we're going to do an ls and check and see. And another thing the exiftool does is it actually saves the original file, and it saves it with the file name appended with _original. But the file that's left, the new file that's actually created, has the same name as the old file, so it's just saving a backup. So now that's it. All of these files have their metadata removed, and you can open them up, use an inspection tool like GIMP, or just explore the files themselves to see that the metadata has been removed. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more content, please like or subscribe below. Thanks, and have a great day.